boys and girls, welcome to another episode of one-on-one interviews about physical performance. Today, finally, I have a privilege to sit with a friend of mine and great strength coach, Mladen Mihajlović. Mladen, welcome.
Luka, thank you. I'm so happy to face you here. It's a long time since I see you. It was like 5 years ago, right?
Maybe even more. Yeah.
Even more, maybe. So I'm really happy and excited to have a talk to you.
Yeah, it's amazing that we have a chance to play semi-finals of Eurocup, and this means that a couple of days ago I was in Bologna. Now you're here. Maybe if we win today, we go back to Bologna. So there will be enough time to drink enough coffees and chit chat about everything what we want to talk about. Anyway, I also took a chance to sit with Mladen and to record an episode because I believe that he's one of the strength coaches who can share with us a lot of his experience and a lot of his knowledge. So that's the aim of the whole interview. And today in the main part we're gonna discuss different topics. We're gonna talk about your experience in the national team. We're gonna talk about some other topics, especially about the specific periodization model that you use with your current coaching staff, and you are using it in both national teams and in the clubs where you work with Sasha Djordjevic. So we're gonna definitely talk about this and some other topics. So guys, without further ado, let's leave Mladen to talk about his background first a little bit, and then later on we're gonna move to some other topics. So please tell us a little bit more about your background, how you started, where you studied, and how you came up to work with Virtus Bologna now.
Okay, thank you. I'm originally from Belgrade, Serbia. And I finished the Faculty of Sport and Physical Education, University of Belgrade. Also, I used to play basketball, and in a parallel time with studying, I already started working with the team where I finished as a junior player. There was like a second team of Partizan. And I had a great chance to start working there and to apply the knowledge, even early knowledge from my university. I was lucky to get chance to be involved in a practical application of the knowledge. During my studies, there was opportunity to me to join Spartak Moscow. Women's basketball team. A great friend of mine who is not with us anymore, Srđan Sarić, invited me to join the youth program of Spartak Moscow, and that was maybe the biggest step, even if it was the first step for me. And that was on my third year during the studies, because I was a good student. And I applied to study third and fourth year in the same year. So for me it was like last 2 years in the same year, and I was judging to accept or not, because I had a lot of exams to finish university, but on the other side I had a great opportunity to join the team and to get some experience, and I decided to take it even if I didn't finish university back at the time. And I spent 1 year there, great experience working with Srđan and also with the probably best players at that time in the world, like Diana Taurazi, Sue Bird, Lauren Jackson, Silvia Falls, Sonja Petrović, Jelena Milovanović, Ivana Matović. And it was a really great experience and big influence to me, to take it with a full value. After that, I came back home to Belgrade and trying to finish my university duties. And in those period, I didn't have the other chance to work. that was really a little bit tough for me to continue, because I was so excited, like now after Spartak I will have a lot of chances, but it's not like that. And it was like a lot of up and downs. I was sad, like, oh, why I don't get it. I was there, but that's normal. And also because of Serbian, he invited me to help him with the national team under 19, Generation 92, that they had a camp for under 19 World Cup in Lithuania.
Now we are talking about men's under 19.
Men's under 19, like Bogdan Bogdanović, his generation.
Bogdan Bogdanović.
Bogdan Bogdanović, yeah, he was junior at that time. Year after that, I took over the youth program because Serbian had duties with the Russian national team women, so he continued with them. So I stayed with the national categories of Serbia, like men's, under 18, under 19, under 20, generation 94, 95. Great experience, great players, Vasilije Micic, Nikola Jokic, Nikola Milutinov. I mean, most of them now play EuroLeague or even NBA, and they are probably the core of our national team senior. So that was another big step for me. And after that, I joined the senior national team as an assistant of surgeon, 2014. But because of his disease, I continue the preparation period and a camp with the national team, and I went to Madrid instead of him, who passed away a couple of months after that. It's really sad to lose the friend, and I can say that he's the person number one that had influence to my career as a true friend. But on the other side, I want also to mention Francesco Cuzzolin, that I met maybe 2007 in Treviso during the Adidas camp. So I spent maybe 10 or 11 years going to Treviso every year, like volunteering first few years, and after that working like 3 to 5 days with physical assessment for the players that will join NBA draft. And he's the person number two that influenced a lot to me from professional level, also from a personal. So like those two persons really had an impact to my career.
Yeah, if you know Kuzo, he cannot influence you only on the professional level. Definitely. He's a very specific guy with a big heart, and he wants to share also his experience with you. He wants to give you good advices always, and from my part, I always like to talk about him because he's the guy who really respects young, enthusiastic strength coaches. He did amazing job for Italian community of strength coaches, but also the impact that he had on a European soil and worldwide is huge.
No, definitely. I mean, I can just tell you, one time in Treviso, I just asked him, back at the time he was like a head of performance, strength and conditioning in Toronto Raptors, and I asked him, hey Kuzo, I have no job. Is there any chance if I can follow practices of Toronto? And he said, okay, let me talk to the management. Maurizio Gherardini was there, and also Brian Colangelo. He talked to them and he answered me, yeah, they approved. I said, okay, when I can come? Whenever you are ready. So I bought the ticket, I reserved the accommodation, and I flew to Canada, and I spent 1 month during the season, which is the pure gold that I could get that time.
Let's touch a little bit, because in the questions I already prepared. So let's touch this right away, not to wait until the end. When you talk about this experience, 1 month with the Toronto Raptors and Kuzo, what did you learn there, and what after some months, what did you consider as the biggest value of being there?
Definitely, it was 2011, like 10 years ago. NBA is a huge system with a lot of people involved inside, and it's amazing. Like the medical staff, conditioning staff, cooperation between them, organization of practices. At that time, everything. I was lucky that they've played like 8 games in a row at home, which is really rare in NBA. Then they play 1 game back to back. They flew away and then they came back again. So I was like 10 or 11 games there. So I saw preparation for the games, weightlifting sessions, like conditioning through basketball, even if it's not really conditioning, but like the real practice. Most of the time they just walk through, but I catch up some really good practices. I saw like in the middle of season how system works, and definitely it helped me with a lot of innovative equipment that they had, and in Europe we just started to think about that approach. They already have been working with it. So for me it was something new. When I came back, I got an offer from Red Star. Like I was in NBA, I'm young coach, okay. And I spent like 3 or 4 months in a Red Star, even if it was bad situation for the club, was maybe the worst year. But I could apply, and it was really interesting to players to see something new and to feel. It was really positive feedback from them.
Nice. Excellent. And then after that, senior national team of Serbia, a lot of great successes, a lot of great years with Sasha Djordjevic as a head coach, and also he kind of took you with himself to Bayern and now to Virtus, right?
Yeah, Serbian basketball national team is something like a holy. For us from Serbia, and especially who play basketball, knows what does it mean for the nation. I was honored. There was influence from Serbian, like to take me as assistant, but also Miroslav Muta Nikolic was chosen from Sasha's side to assist him as assistant coach, and I was already like 2 years in Radnički Kragujevac, where Muta was the head coach. So Muta also proposed me to join the national team, and that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
So for me it was great experience, but was really big responsibility because it was specific here. First time with the national team. Sasha is a legend in our country. Also first time working with the players on that level, like big characters, big egos, big personalities. On the other side, that emotional problem that the whole national team had because of Srđan, because we needed to handle, to support him. You couldn't tell him, hey, don't come, because he was part of us. He was the head strength and conditioning coach, and all of us, we were going through the same problem during the preparation period. So it was really tough for me the whole period. Even when we came back from the World Cup with the medals, after that he passed away, and I don't know how to say. Like emotions are mixed. Like I was happy, like to make something in the World Cup, but on the other side, I lost a friend, and like. But generally, talking about the experience with the national team, I don't know. It's a special value. I cannot quantify. I cannot quantify. Like being there with those guys, I mean, we made a culture. I mean, culture already existed of the national team, but we made a climate that everybody recognized and everybody wanted to come back and to participate the next national team action. I mean, that's the biggest value, to feel what means the team.
Yeah, exactly.
And then everything else, like conditioning, basketball practice, this and that is really small thing comparing to the chemistry that we made together there. I mean, Sasha is the boss and was the main guy who project all these things, and we were just like part of the staff to try to follow and to give, I don't know, the wind to the back.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, we can talk about national team a lot, but
okay, in the main part we're gonna definitely touch the national team. I want to start the main part with the national team experience. Let's just wrap up this first part by talking a little bit more about your job in the teams. Let's talk a little bit about Bayern and also about Virtus, just how it went and what are the values of being there.
From one side, I'm really lucky that, you know, I follow Sasha and also Goran Bjedo, who is assistant in the team. So like three of us, wherever we come, we try to bring the system, which is probably the most important thing. Once you put a system and everybody follows it, it's much more easier to give like small orders, you know, and the small tasks, goals. But if everybody is on the same page, definitely, I mean, experience in Bayern was great. For me, it was like first time coming out of the country in men's basketball. Serious organization, big club, a lot of people involved, medical staff, probably the best in Europe, and also like experience working with that staff is a great value. You know, it's not just about conditioning; it's about learning a lot of different things connected to the health and to the performance of the players. It was great experience. I mean, a lot of good players, great persons. With a lot of them, I stay in touch even now. We won the cup after 48 or 50 years, but at the end, okay, we didn't have chance to finish the second year. Okay, we got fired. Doesn't matter, but anyway, it was just one step in career where I use the best things. I take them and I bring them with myself everywhere where we go. We try to implement a system from the national team there, which shows really, really well. We will talk about that later. And then after Bayern Munich, Virtus Bologna happened. We came in March, like 2018-19 season, and city that is pretty similar to Belgrade from the basketball perspective. Like two really important clubs for Italian basketball, like Fortitudo and Virtus, like Red Star and Partizan, with great fans, like a big
rivalry.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it was like a natural environment because I used to work also with the Red Star and Partizan, and for me, like this kind of atmosphere is a normal and like exciting. And we were lucky to win the Champions League the same year, and now we are trying to get back club to the EuroLeague, where club was in the past, and that's the goal of the club. I don't know. We face Munich and you, and who knows what's going to be tonight, or even if there is another game on Wednesday. But I mean, it's interesting. It's good. Yeah. If we are here, it's good.
Nice. Hopefully, good things will turn out for you, and you will stay for many years in Virtus, because I believe that it's a huge project. I think definitely. I think that Sasha, with his coaching staff, can deliver this project and be a serious competitor in EuroLeague. So hopefully, bright days for Virtus Bologna are right in front of us. Okay, let's take a short break now, and then we will come back and start talking about the national team.
Okay, good.
Perfect. Guys, short break, and we're coming back. Guys, welcome back to the episode with Mladen. Now we're gonna discuss the experience from the national team, something that is a huge experience in Mladen's career. And let's talk about the national team in a way how I would like to start the discussion, and later on we're going to move to more practical things regarding the periodization and the model that you have and that you apply now in the clubs as well. For me, the most important question now at the beginning will be connected to the players that you have on the national team. It is well known that Serbian national team has one of the best players in Europe and one of the best players in the States. Now, in the States, it depends in which team players play. Some of them finish their seasons in April, May. Some of them go all the way until the end. Then in Europe, if we talk about the elite teams, usually until mid of June, sometimes some seasons even until the end of June, the final series of national competitions are played, and then players, when they join the national team, they join pretty much tired, beat it up with minor or major issues. And as you said, in Serbia, even if you have a major issue, you can see players that they accept the invitation and then they come to the national team. They are trying to fix the problems as the time moves on. So I would like you to explain a little bit your approach in the first week or two when the national team gathers, how individualized the program is, what is normally approached from your side and the side of Sasha, and then later on in the later stages of that training camp, how do you put the guys together to really compete? You also have to participate in some friendly games and so on. So tell us a little bit about this individualization throughout the whole training camp.
I mean, it's interesting topic. It's true that a lot of players have a different season in the same year. Some of them they finish in early April if they don't join the NBA playoff. Some of them they play a couple of games in playoff and finish. Some of them play EuroLeague, and like some of our players play like until June 15 or June 18 domestic final series, like Italy, Turkey, VTB, and that's happened 2016 when we play qualification for the Olympic Games. It was very early, I think maybe beginning of July it started. So like I think that everything starts with a good planning with the whole stuff, and I mean that was the biggest value that we did 2016 here, because like for a World Cup and for a European Championship, usually it's much more later in the summer. Like usually it's August and September, so you have more time for all the players to take some rest, and after that even to prepare individually before they participate the national team. We don't have problem with players coming to the camp like unprepared. Like with the national team, I cannot tell you one single player that came there unprepared, that we had to spend time to put him back on the track. I mean, it's really interesting if we talk about this 2016. Was maybe interesting for everybody to hear the whole process because it's so specific. We have a different categories of the players. So the first category was like totally inactive players for a couple of months. Like that time, Jokic finished with Denver in April. They didn't join the playoff. Didn't reach the playoff. And also some domestic players from Partizan because they didn't qualify for the final of ABA of domestic league. Pardon. But on the other side, we had like players that played the final of EuroLeague. Like that year, CSK and Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce won. So like Teodosic was in CSK, and on the other side was Bogdanovic and Kalinic from Fenerbahce. Milano, they finished, I think, 7th game on the of the final, maybe June 18. And we had also players from Malaga, Nedovic and Markovic, that they finished, I think, without playoff or maybe first round of playoff. So, and Markovic had a huge surgery on the ankle, so was really mixed up the roster from that point of view. What I can say from my side was the most important thing, like good planning. So we were in touch with all strength and conditioning coaches of our players in Europe, like Kostas from CSK, Diego from Malaga, Justino from CSK, Bata Zimonjić from Fenerbahce, Dragan from Red Star. Like most of our players play there. So, and we followed the last probably 2 to 3 months what they have been doing in their club. Also, we were in touch with Minnesota, with Nemanja Bjelica, and also with the Denver Nuggets. Steve Hess, that time was a head of performance of Denver Nuggets. So, like following their plan and program in the clubs, we try to adjust our plan and program, and we got a more clear picture what they need to do, like just to put them on the same page so that the group can be homogeneous, right? Mm-hmm. That we can continue with our activities, because the main goal was to qualify for the Olympic Games. Serbia took organization, was even higher pressure on us because it was in Belgrade, like it was like a huge investment for the country government, and like we really felt the pressure, like, hey, we must go there. On the other side, everybody wanted to feel Olympic Games, was like my dream since I was studying. And once we started, like the main goal was like, okay, let's try to rest them. Like most of the players, they were in their teams. Okay, NBA, there was one group. The other group was like injured players and like had some middle time between non-playing and the camp. And the third group, the most tired, was the group that finished maybe one day before we started the camp, or some players, I think, we wait for 2 days. So 2 days later, they participate in the national team. That was strange, but talking to CSK, to Fenerbahce, and to Milano, I mean, in their countries they play like every second day, like on 48 hours, you know. And talking to Kostas, to Bata, and to Justino, they said like probably last 2 weeks we didn't do anything of weights. It was just some light activation, prevention, that's it. And that was my biggest point. Okay, we have like 10 days to prepare qualification tournament. What those players should do? I said nothing. Just continue the same routine, like their comfort zone. Okay, weights, no. Keep going with prevention, with light activation, just to survive. Qualification tournament, because it was not about the basketball shape. Basketball shape was on the top. Most of those players, they took medals, they won championships, so it's not about that. They were exhausted. We try to avoid all physical assessment, so we didn't do any single test. We just did a medical test, like a basic blood test, just to see the basic parameters, and where we saw that like immunity system was totally down. They lost a lot of kilos. They didn't have a problem with body fat. It's the end of the season, but that was the main goal. I mean, we got some clear picture how we need to go. Activity, no tape. I mean, we played the first friendly game against France. I remember in Paris, in Bercy, maybe, I don't know, 10 days before qualification tournament. The first practice with the tape we did that morning in Bercy. Before that, no, it was active recovery, but active recovery through basketball, like for 10 days. In Belgrade, we organized, okay, what's the most important thing? Okay, from basketball, let's try to repeat all sets. We cannot play with just random. We need to be, on the same page with the tactic. I said, okay, this is going to be the main goal. And we organized practices without tape, like learning sets, intensity. Intensity was like comfort zone. Okay, just try to remind, is a so high level of players, we don't need to run it in a full speed. As much as we do, they're going to go down and down, down with the performance. So that was the first thing. The second thing was like, okay, they don't need to spend energy. The first thing, let them sleep. The first rule in a hotel was, okay, first duty is a lunch. Why? Let them sleep. We don't care if they wake up at 11, 12, 12:45, but show up on lunch, and after that again go and sleep. And we were thinking like, oh, we are in Belgrade, should we move somewhere, like nightclubs, this and that. No, Sasha, from his experience and from his perspective, he said, no, we're going to be in Belgrade because their families are there, and that's the thing that they miss a lot during the year. And he allowed the families to come to the hotel, and even sometimes they brought the kids after the practice to Belgrade Arena. So to spend time together and that to make that chemistry, so everybody feels okay, we're here all together. I mean, so many interesting things, and that's how we started to recover day by day. Recovery is not like, okay, we're gonna work and then we will recover. No, this is the chronic fatigue that we need to recover for a longer period. And with a good nutrition plan, with a good nap, and a good climate in the national team, with allowing families to be part of us, I think we step up on the psychological level a lot. The weightlifting sessions, as I said, we had like 3 groups. So we organized like 2 or 3 mini events going for the practices. So the first group was a group that didn't practice for a month or 2. And they were working on performance. The second group was the group that did something, but nothing special, and the third group was like exhausted group. I can just tell you one example, like Matvan, he just came back from Milano, I think the second day of the camp. He participated, he said hello to everybody. He went home, he shoot the door, the stock of the door, and he broke the small, the pinky toe. I mean, you can see that like their bodies were totally empty, and we were really careful. So I mean, it's nice, it's a good example, how we managed those situations, because there was no in some book or in some study that you can find example, how to prepare team for the qualification, and right after that you need again to prepare them for the Olympic Games, where we won the silver medal, and was really great experience. And like I'm really happy and proud how we managed that situation. Like was something new for us, but at the end was successful.
Excellent. And when you finished the qualification tournament, let's move on. to talk about that summer, because that summer was specific and, as you said, the most demanding summer regarding the periodization of trainings and all of the activities. And I have the experience of the national team, so I know that there are these friendly games that you have to play, or these friendly tournaments in France, Italy, wherever wherever FIBA puts it, or the national federations. So let's talk a little bit about post period of that tournament. How did you organize it? Some days off, probably, and then how long was the period until you went?
I think
to
it was
Olympics?
about maybe 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Right after qualification tournament, we gave them like 5 days off
Mm-hmm.
to really recovery, like mentally and physically, because like during the competition, I mean, we stepped up with the shape. That was the consequence of the tapering that we did before, but mentally they were really exhausted, because like we played like 4 games in I think 6 or 7 days, and once we realized that we are on the Olympic Games, it was really high impact psychologically. So 5 days we say, okay, you can go wherever you want. So they went on vacation, and then they show up. We went on Munich for I think 3 weeks, where we started to build up performance. I mean, we went through the system that we will talk later about that gave us a lot of results, and that was the real camp where we really practiced, and it wasn't like this tapering and it was really fight for every ball, for position. Also there was more than 12 players, like I think maybe 15 or 16, so also for the spot, and that's it. We were waiting for Mačvan to recover
Mm-hmm.
with the foot, and he recovered for the Olympic Games.
Excellent.
Yeah, 3 weeks was 3 weeks. Right after that, we went to Argentina for the tournament, and during that period in Serbia, we didn't play any single game because we didn't want to waste the time. For us, it was the most beneficial to practice and to increase the volume of the working together. We didn't have time to work before qualification tournament, so we spent time together. Once we finished that camp, we flew to Argentina, and we play a very strong tournament with Croatia,
Mm-hmm.
Argentina, and France.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And right after that, that was like only 3 games as a preparation games for the Olympic Games. Right after Cordoba, we flew to Rio, and that's history.
Excellent. Let's use the whiteboard, and let's talk right away about this specific type of periodization. Of course, we will not be accurate completely about how it was, but just to present the system, and now the guys know what was before this this period of this 3-week training camp. So let's explain the system of periodization that you have. Normally you call it 2-1-2-0.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means 2 practices a day, 1 practice a day, 2 practices a day, day off, and then you just repeat it as a cycle during a certain period of time. So let's explain a little bit to the guys how it was. I will write it up on the board. So let's say first period was the qualis for Olympic Games.
Yep.
Then we had second part was 5 days off, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then after that 5 days off, we are coming basically to the third phase, and this is the start of the training camp. Now, did you start with the system 2-1-2-0 right away, or you again had some period of intro days of like maybe no tape practices and so on?
Yeah. We have. I mean, the whole system that we that we use has some rules.
Mm-hmm.
And wherever we are, we respect that rules, and it shows us that is really beneficial from the point of like not having injuries, with a good introduction. So we have rules like if we travel, we know what we do that night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like a recovery practice, some relaxation, light activation, just to loosen up, and we're waiting the next day ready. If we didn't practice for a couple of days, is a second rule. The rule is, okay, we need 1, 2, or 3 days introduction for something that is coming after that. And also, what is after the game? If we have like 3 days in between the game, 2 days, and always we follow the rule, and this is the part of like a more global picture. If you zoom out, then you see those rules you can recognize as a coach. Also players recognize, so they can plan their private life, which we think is really important for them. Not like, okay, tomorrow morning is a practice, and you know, they're like, no, but it was off. No, they exactly know, like, this is going to be off, this is going to be, and we don't change it. It's about us. If we make mistake, mm-hmm. and we need to adjust our practice, we cannot adjust like with their life,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because also like their private life is a part of their life, same as a basketball routine. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So right after these 5 days off,
let's go. Yeah,
I
will write day by day. Okay. So basically, we will use this part of the board day by day, basically until this 28 days or the 21 day. Until Cordoba.
Okay, let's 16 or whatever. But yeah, it was like a trip day, because we show up in Belgrade, and right after meeting and lunch in a hotel, we went to the Kopaonik. Okay. So the morning was trip.
Okay.
In the evening was like a recovery session with mobility, light activation, for sweating.
First day.
First day, exactly. Okay. Was trip plus evening activation.
Okay.
As soft tissue manipulation, mobility stuff, light activation, and at the end, like a light basketball activity through some shoot around, competition, but very light intensity.
Easy b-ball. Okay.
Exactly. Or riding a bike or whatever. So we are ready for the next day. And as I remember, right after that, because of these 5 days, there was like before the camp, we had, I think, one cycle of 3 days where we really control the intensity. Mm-hmm. Because for us, like volume is not something that is, I cannot say important, but it's not something that we really take care of. The first and main thing that we take care is about intensity, because we want to bring players on intensity that we want. They cannot get hurt with the volume if intensity is low.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. But if you bring them on intensity that you want, okay, and then let's repeat that intensity and see how long they can mm-hmm. repeat mm-hmm. on that level. But if they repeat like 20%, is nothing, is unusable. Mm-hmm. So that was the first thing. Try to bring them as close as possible with the intensity. Mm-hmm. Because like 5 days for them is nothing. Like they didn't lose too much, but like to get back like a neuromuscular activity and like muscle to really fire up for a practice, that was the main goal. Right after this like 3 days, we gave them a day off, and we started. Yeah, it was like it was the trip day plus 3 introduction days.
Okay, so 2, 3, 4. What did you do in these?
Was pretty similar like the system 2-1-2-0. So because like this day you don't count, is a travel day. Okay. So it's like a weightlifting session.
Okay.
Was like a more general. After that is a basketball practice. In the afternoon, and we will talk about this in more detail.
Okay, of course. Good.
Then was again one practice.
Only basketball?
Basketball. And then weightlifting session again.
Mm-hmm. weightlifting,
and then again basketball.
okay. So basically the day 5
Is a day off.
Off.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. So basically we have, it was maybe a little bit lighter than usual,
Exactly.
but basically from the first week you started to integrate your 2-1-2-0 system. So basically, just to understand,
Exactly. This is
okay,
the 3 days.
since I put it as a day 1, okay, we can put it as a day 0 sometimes.
Exactly.
Okay, but doesn't matter. We will follow. That's why I didn't want to put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because in the national team it's not about Monday or Friday or Sunday.
No.
It's about days and cycles that you have. So that's why I want to start from number 1 until this 21 or 28 or 25, doesn't matter. So okay, we have the first system, and it was a little bit lighter system. So basically from the day 6, 7, 8, and 9, we have the same system.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
The same scheme.
Okay. So we have
I mean, this
weightlifting here and weightlifting here in the mornings, and in the afternoon we have here basketball. We have here basketball in the evening. We have basketball here, and we have a day off
Exactly.
here. Okay, perfect. Now let's talk about this second cycle of 2-1-2-0, and most probably here you started to touch the real principles of 2-1-2-0, especially when it comes to basketball practices, because the 2-1-2-0 system is all about specific conditioning, not losing too much time on running outside on the track and field stadium, running in the woods. You want to take advantage of working tactically, running through the sets. Some of the drills are no contact, some of the drills are contact drills, and with this improve the physical readiness and real game shape of your players. And with some individual approaches in weightlifting, you organize the morning sessions. So now the stage is all yours. Explain us a little bit how this 2-1-2-0 system works.
Okay. Can I also? Okay. Yeah, just to make a difference between those two. I mean, first one, the system is the same. It's just like more extensive and more progressive. We started with a lighter load, and what is the main goal in this part here? Like, try to repeat like all offensive sets, because for this system we don't have conditioning outside. All conditioning we do through basketball, so they need to know offensive sets, defensive rules once we play, not to have like breaks. Hey, you have to stop because of this and this. Even though we have a part where we work on these corrections, like teaching new stuff and like giving information to players. We started with this in 2014. I mean, before the World Cup, we were thinking how to make plan and program, and I mean, Serbian was a big influence on creating this plan and program together with me and with the coaching staff. And some points were like, okay, we have a really high level of players, like technically, tactically, and also psychologically, like really, really high players, like a good example. And then, okay, let's not waste the time, because probably they are tired because of their seasons. So let's not make 2 months of working out and prepare them for the World Cup. Let's try to squeeze it as well, because of some other rules from NBA players that they could have been, I think, 7 weeks, and now it's even 5. So you have to shrink and to put them together in the same time. Otherwise, you know, they don't practice first 2 weeks, and then you need to adjust again. Practices for them to learn sets, to become part of the team. And then we say, okay, we're going to make like a more intensive, but we need to have a good waves of the load, and we need to have a good methodology. So we made it. I mean, I didn't find in the literature this kind of practices, but at the end it shows really effective. that we implement like every year with the national team and also with all the clubs that we have been working with, and it shows great result. That's why I want to share with you and also with the other guys, so maybe you can see, hey, this is great, or maybe I would adjust something more, or this is totally fake. You know, why this system? It looks that there is not so much practice. Like if you look like is off, and then you have 11, 12, 13. So again is a practice, and off. So every 4 days you have off, but also every 4 days you have a morning off, and it's like a wave. But here inside we have some rules. It's like because this one also comes after the day off, right? So what's the first rule after the day off? Let's try to prepare players for the whole cycle. So this practice is introduction, like a weightlifting, a lot of mobility, a lot of activation, individualized or group, working on the soft tissue, mobility, like proprioception, prevention, pre-rehabilitation, everything. And with the basketball, also try to prepare them and to activate the whole body for the whole cycle. So they're repeating their basketball skills.
Together with after weightlifting?
After weightlifting. They're coming to the floor, and with the basketball coaches, sometimes it's just individual workout for guards, for big guys. Sometimes it's like a group of 2 or 3 players doing some group tactic and group technique. I mean tactical skills together. Technical, let's say, but it's introduction for the whole cycle. I can say introduction technical for the cycle, and then in the evening, I mean right after day off, so they're ready to perform. What we do here is like speed, agility, repeated sprint, ability. Nervous system is ready, muscles are ready, rest. So we want to develop like this ability. We want to bring them, first of all, on intensity of the game that Sasha wants, the way that he set the tactics, and after that to try to repeat as much as possible. So to see, you know, how they can perform, how long they can maintain this intensity. And everything is through basketball, like this conditioning. We set the drills. I don't know, warm up. After that, there is a stretching. After stretching, there is some short activation with me. And after that, there is activation with the ball, with some handicap situations. But everything is like, okay, we're talking about speed. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds activity. How much time do you need? Like based on science and based on conditioning, okay, you need a longer period to recover energetical system and so on. So we make like groups of 2, 3, 4 players, depends what we want to attack. And right after that is like tactic, but also in with the main goal on developing this capacity. So it's like we don't play something that is really too long. We play like, we have some rules like half court and half court plus 1. It's like a 14 seconds activity, and right away we ask players, like as soon as they miss or if they score, there is a flying ball that enter the floor from the assistant coach, so they play on the half court, and then they need to go to the fast break in really short time. So they have transition, and to resolve there, sometimes we said like, I don't know, try to resolve in 8 seconds, sometimes in 14, sometimes try to play set play to play smart. But intensity is maximum. Right after that, there is enough time to recover again, so they have the other repetition. And usually this practice is about 70 to 75 minutes altogether. There is a one rule, considering like all practices, that players must be like 15 minutes before the practice, each practice, ready on the floor. Why? No cell phones. The first thing, so try to come with the mind in your duty. You have to start thinking about basketball, and the other thing, start to work on your weak points. They get their tasks. Is it soft tissue problem? Is it mobility problem? Is it something with a physiotherapist? Is some light activation for a particular part of the body? That's it.
And do you have from after this whole individual routine of mobility, stretching, prehab, rehab, whatever, do you really have a part where you do actual weightlifting, like the strength work, some kind of like deadlift, split squats, bench presses?
You mean here?
Here, yes.
Yeah. After exactly. The first part is like to prepare them, and then they go to the weightlifting.
And how long is the session?
It's like 30 minutes, 35 minutes maximum.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that's it.
Okay.
And right after that, they're coming to the floor, and not more than 30, 35 minutes on the floor.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay.
Sometimes you don't have two floors, you have just one court, so maybe we split them. That's it. But in that case, we prepare them all together on the floor, so they are ready for any activity. So this is the first day, and is like, okay, we're attacking acceleration, deceleration, changes of direction, speed, agility. The second day is reserved for speed as well, but it's just a half court.
Okay, so basically the first day of the
Cycle.
Yeah.
The second day is just one practice in the evening.
Okay.
So in the morning they had time to recover. So the difference is like 24 hours, and it's not possible that somebody will come to the gym to work out. No, it's forbidden for everybody.
So this morning, completely forbidden.
Exactly. We want to try to put them in the system altogether. So we know that everybody will react on this kind of practices on the same way, and we know that everybody will recover on the same day. It's not possible that two players come and do the workout in the morning, and then in the evening, why the others are okay and they're tired? No, so we know that the whole group is on the same page. And this practice is mostly on the half court, and exactly.
Put it here.
Is on the half court. We try to save legs. There is not big volume of running, but still is a speed agility with enough time to rest. This practice is a little bit longer, so the volume usually is like about 90 to 100 minutes. But why? First of all, because of prolonged warm-up, because of morning off, we want to get them ready. It's a little bit longer preparation for the practice. And after that, most of the practice we stay. There is no transition. There is no like handicap situation up and down. Most of the time, we stay on the half court. But how we manage the load? Usually, in this day, we want to put like everything what is connected to learning new stuff, new set.
Okay.
Correction.
So most probably there is a lot of
stopping, a lot of corrections. But once they play maximum intensity. No faking. But they play like 18, 20, 24 seconds. But once they stop, we use this as a tool to get our goal. So we stop and say, okay, no, this screen wasn't good. You have to go there. You have to go there. Or let's try to adjust the team tactically. But the energy, the main point is like, okay, again is a speed, agility. There is much more changes of direction in this kind of practice than this one. There I will explain you later that we use catapult, and I had some feedback from there which is interesting, and maybe is interesting for all the other colleagues, that they can continue measuring and maybe to find some differences. Maybe it was just one example which is not reliable enough, exactly. So that's the second day. And then the third, so the volume is a little bit longer, I repeat again, because of longer introduction.
And more talking.
And more talking in between. So when you play 24 seconds, then you talk for 1 minute, minute and a half. But it's enough time for them to recover so they can, again, repeat activity on the high level. And the third day, okay, we again start with the weightlifting. But after weightlifting, it's just spot up shooting. Why? Because we're coming to fatigue. It's like a third day, so their performance coming down. The load is coming up, the performance is coming down. So we don't want to spend this time here to make them tired, because the main load in the cycle is going to be this one.
Okay, yeah, basketball. Okay, this is the main goal.
Exactly, and we put it in the plan, like main load in the cycle with the big red, so everybody understand, hey, this is the impact. Not only us as a coaches, not me as a strength and conditioning coach, but the doctor and physiotherapist. Guys, be careful, because this is something that we really need to take care of before the practice and after the practice. But also talking to players, you know, in physio room, hey, tomorrow is going to be like a really tough practice, so the players also adjust their off-court life for this practice here. So it's like morning is a weightlifting session with activation, like similar to this one. I mean, they continue their weightlifting program. We can talk about those goals, like here, weights, but spot up instead of individual technical, tactical workout with the coaches.
Okay.
That's the main difference between
these two
sessions.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, this makes it simple. Okay.
Okay. And
Nice.
then
And let's talk now about
the main thing here, we want to call like specific endurance, like a basketball flow practices. The main goal is to try to develop energetical systems that are very important for a basketball game. So we want to try to repeat as much as possible this one, but with the overloading. So we try to cut the rest and the time that we spend between repetitions as much as possible. So usually instead of having the rest in between repetitions, 1 against 3, 4, 5, here is 1 against 1 or even less. So it's really overloading. But what about intensity? We want this intensity here. So, and this is the practice where you cannot have a big impact on a tactical level, because we don't want to talk about basketball there. Like, hey, why you didn't set the screen? Why everything is flying? So the warm up, okay, whatever is individual workout or is a team or a group workout. There is a stretching, and after that there is a small activation again, like I don't know, warm up, stretching, activation with me, and then activation with the basketball. And this one is again the same like this one. So we're talking about repeated sprint ability. The first part of the practice is this repeated sprint ability, the full court. Sometimes we go 1 court, sometimes we go 2, but it's activity between 8 and 10 seconds. Still good, enough time to rest. And how practice goes on, we try to cut the rest and we go more specific, and we are going to activities that are really up and down. And we have some models with the different drills. We gave them the names, like a paras drill, muta drill, I don't know, aito drill, a lot of different drills, I mean coaches. And we try to play until 3 basket, 5 basket, 3 courts, 5 courts, or a flow time. So like flow basketball with a dirty time, like 3+2, 4+2, 6+2, depends on what level they are. And once they finish, I don't know, 5 baskets, and both teams, they need to score 5 baskets, but every basket is 1. So you score 3 points is 1. You dunk is 1. And like if one team wins 3 against 2, we stop the game and we play another one. But we don't let them to recover totally. So if you look, the heart rate is like high all the time. And we try to stay there, sometimes 20, 25, 30 minutes. When we see that intensity is dropping down, we don't want to continue, because the main goal of the practice is try to repeat this intensity for. If it starts to go down, for us it's not interesting anymore to play, just to play on the low level. No, because why? Also the psychological preparation, where we can see when they're nervous, how they react on the stress, on a competition, and every single drill is accounting. We count also 2 handicap situation, 3 on 3, and then at the end there are some push-ups. There is pizza, but also we involve psychological aspect in every single practice. So once they finish that, they need more time to recover for these kind of practices. But that's why they have the 4th day, which is off. And what is also the rule of this day? No activity, no individual workout, no weightlifting session. What is the first duty, like from the plan, from the team's plan, is a dinner at 9 p.m. Or sometimes was midnight going to bed. But we leave one window for the players, like a training and conditioning coaches and physiotherapists are available for them to recover. So we live like usually about 4 hours. So I don't know, maybe between 11 and 3 or 1 and 5. There is a pool, physio procedures, recovery session, everything what they need, and also like time that they spend with the families, do whatever you want. So, and then we repeat like those cycles like 3 to 4 times, and you see that they're going deeply into the fatigue.
Okay.
But what's the real benefit? Because you're always on the maximal intensity that defines the basketball game, and it's interesting for them because every second morning is off, and they think like, oh yeah, today we practice, tomorrow morning is off. Once they finish, okay, let's survive next day with 2 practices, and after that we have a full day off, and it's really quick. It goes. And if you see that every second day is a lifting, and we go and go and go, and is a huge volume of weights. I mean, if you do like 4 cycles of this, you have like 8 liftings in 16 days. And once we finish this kind of periodization, usually after, depends on the time that you have to prepare the team, but like let's say you do 4 of these.
Yeah, that's what I was about to put here. The basically 15, 16, 17.
Exactly.
Let's say we repeated the cycle of double, 1, double, off.
Exactly.
And basically, as you said, 1, 2, 3, 4 cycles like that.
Or then even 1 additional more, like introduction, and 4 real cycles.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually we plan also with the friendly games, because sometimes it's really tough to organize friendly games. You want to play against Spain, but Spanish Federation, they don't want to play outside the country. Then you want to play against France, but they already arranged the game against Lithuania, and that is like really tough to organize the games. And sometimes you cannot choose exactly the date, because they have some other games that they reserve. But we want to leave at least like 5-6 days.
Maybe after this.
Exactly.
That's why I put this 14 to 17, because I want to talk about tapering phase. Now we can talk about 2016, this Cordoba tournament, and explain a little bit the approach of tapering, especially if you have a game within the tapering phase. So let's touch this part. that is coming right here. Not to raise everything now, because later I want to take the photo of the board in case that the guys cannot see very well what is on the board. Let's talk about this tapering phase, and then here we are talking about Olympic Games.
Yeah, usually after this kind of blocks, we have like a tapering phase, which is not too long, because for us it's not the main goal to be ready right after this camp, because you have like almost like 20 days after this to join the World Cup or I don't know, Olympic Games or European Basketball Championship. So we give them at least 1 or 1.5 days off, and then to have at least like 3 days of practicing. So it's like 5 days in between. So where we drastically cut the volume of practices, and we don't go with 2-1, 2-0 or this kind. Usually, again, after day and a half or 2 days off, we start with the morning session, where is a weight session, again to reactivate the whole body with a good activation, mobility, soft tissue treatments, and then with the individual light workout to be ready for the whole cycle. Because in the evening, that's again one of our rules. What is coming after day off? Again, we're coming back to play basketball, developing the speed. I mean, you don't develop speed. You just try to fire up the muscular activity, like the neurons and the muscles on the high excitation, which is the point. Okay, and I think it's really good to prevent players from injuries, because if they are able to facilitate the muscles, and if their nervous system is really ready to play this game, I think it's a big prevention from them. But the volume is drastically cut. It's like 20% less. We're practicing about 50 minutes to 60 minutes this practice. Even if we go like half plus one, like a full course speed. And then next 2 days before the first friendly game, we try to tape, because it's not the regular preparation for the friendly game. We're recovering from previous 16 days, and they're really in fatigue. And it shows great result to us, because again, one of our rules, how we consider games, even if we're a national team of Serbia, and I mean everybody expects you to win, but we have some rules. It's like play to practice, like early games. Play to compete. It's like more responsibility. It's not random play. You know, you can make mistake, but there are responsibilities. And the last stage, which is like I don't know, the last 7 days or 10 days before the World Cup or some big competition, is play to win. You cannot just play, I'm playing to have fun. No, there are big responsibilities, and is a big psychological pressure, because how you can be successful if you never touch your limit. If somebody push you all the time, you know, through the limit, once you go there, it's your comfort zone, right? Or if you play a game, okay, now I don't care. I just don't want to be hurt. You know?
Yeah, perfect.
So it's also one of our, and we have a couple of rules, and we play with these rules, making this system. Is much more global picture. I can talk about this, but this is like now almost 7-8 years working together with Sasha, Goran, and I don't know, federation with other coaches. It's like it really goes like this. But it's really interesting making the system where everything makes sense. So this is like, okay, what is coming after this? There are games, but what's the main goal with these games? You have to give the goal to the players. Guys, we go to win today. You know, but in between us, because coach will not react on the same way if we lose this game. Because then when we come back to the office, he'll say, okay, this was, okay, play to practice. And then with the scouting reports and everything, this was good, this was bad, we didn't run well, we're not ready, or we are over fatigued. So we control as a control microcycle to use it to retest again specifically, because like if you do test of jumping and to see like muscle stiffness, okay, you will find fatigue, and I know that. They don't play full speed, they cannot jump, heavy legs, but what I will get with a number that he jumped 45 and not 49, that is his usually high, but nothing, right?
Yeah.
Psychologically, there is nothing there. But if he can play under that fatigue successfully and trying to find a solution in the game, for us is meaning something, you know. And then there is another part, like playing to compete. Is not like playing to practice with a different goal, but also they don't know that. And then the third one is play to win, which is the main goal with our national team and with every team where we are. That's why we are here or somewhere else.
No, I like the system.
Is interesting. And also, I can talk now. Like if you look the friendly games that we played with the national team, this is interesting thing, but a little bit connected with us as a strength and conditioning coaches, but is a Sasha's idea. It's interesting to everybody can hear about that. He's like, okay, where we want to be. Like we are a national team with the great players, with great experience, high level, but on what level we want to be. So we want to be like athletic team, so we select players that are able to play that game, but also like if you want to play that game, you have to compete against them. And if you look our friendly games, what opponents were? French national team, Lithuanian national team, Greek national team, Puerto Rico national team, Argentina. We were not able maybe to arrange the game against USA or Spain, because Spain doesn't go outside the country. It's their politic. Super. But Sasha said, okay, usually which national teams took the medals in the last couple of competition? Australia, Spain, France, United States, Greece, you know, like, and say we must play games against them. This must be our comfort zone. We cannot play without underestimating the other teams. You know, we play also against Croatia, we play against Bosnia, against Italy. We said, guys, you want to play really, really high intensity basketball, play against athletes. A lot of games we play against friends, like couple of years, like in a row, we play against them and say, so aggressive, so athletic. You have to give 110% to play against them on a really high level. And the national team that 2013 took a gold medal. And every year they are like a second, third, first, second, third, with the Tony Parker, Batum, with all the other NBA players, A9. And that was one of the strategies of our system.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sasha had that idea, and he said, like, if we want to be on the top, we need to beat these national teams.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get there, like winning the first competition together, like a World Cup, then he said, okay, guys, what's the next? We don't have chance to play against USA so much time, but let's put the next goal. We want to beat USA. And everybody was laughing of players. Look at this, look what he's talking about. I remember. But at the end, doesn't matter. We beat USA in China, whatever roster they had. But you have to put like your goal and say, okay, I'm aiming this goal. It's really, really important for players. You know, Australian national team, 8 or 9 NBA players in the Olympic Games. We beat them by, I don't remember, by 25 or 30 points. It was in the semifinal. Maybe the best game of the national team in our cycle. Maybe the second game was the final of the qualification tournament against Puerto Rico, but it's not the same level, you know. And like playing against Australia with I don't know, Bogut, Patty Mills, Joe Ingles, De La Vedova, Baines, it's amazing. And you beat them by 30 easily, like first half 25, you know, and say, oh, okay, we are there. So we have a couple of rules and we try to respect them, but it's like is from above. Players, they don't know about this. We are talking in the office, and is really complex. And when somebody think, look, they don't do anything, they do, but because everything is set. Also now in Virtus, my biggest job was like first 2 months to set the system. Now everything is printed, they just come in, they do everything, they're educated. They know the rules, and for me it's easy to work. I don't spend a lot of time about it's just management, how I can help you today. Not like you need to do this, it's already written, and they know everything. They know how to squat, they know how to clean, they know, like how to treat the soft tissue. Why I should tell them again, if you do this, you will strengthen. I told them 1, 2 times, 3 times, first 3 months. After that, do you need to bring you this for the calf, or you need this one for the, hip flexor? So it's much more easier once you bring the system. If you every day struggle to show them this, you're lost.
Perfect.
That's I don't know if it's interesting for some.
For me, it's interesting.
Yeah. For me, it's really beneficial because I didn't see a lot of so many systems with like a big umbrella that cover all the space. We do it all together. It's not like conditioning, basketball. Everything is through basketball. Conditioning, psychology, tactics, responsibilities, everything is through basketball.
Yeah, but I think it comes from the top. If you have a head coach who first of all appreciates his assistants, if he appreciates strength and conditioning as a part of basketball game, and if he can hire good people around with good characters that fit each other well, the success is there. Okay, sure. Sometimes you depend, and the head coaches depend on the players and how they perform on the court, but it is very important for one head coach to have people who he trusts around him, so he can build a system. And whenever he's not there in the gym, in the morning practice, weightlifting and technical part, or this, for example, he will be here, but he will not come for shooting. He doesn't have to be there. He can be at home, prepare some tactical part for here because he wants to clear his mind. He doesn't have to be here. But if he has people of trust and he knows that this practice will be, full control, with good focus of the players, with good, for example, shooting competition, whatever, that's for me success, and that's the system,
I agree with this, and is really important point of view. If you have a system, whatever small part you take out from the system will not crash. It's happened a couple of times that we saw that players, usually at the end, like a last cycle, that they're really tired. And we want to get the last practice. We cut this one in the morning. But it doesn't change the system.
Yeah. If this is the goal,
this is the goal.
This you take this one out, and you becomes 2 1 1 0.
Exactly.
No problem.
Exactly. But also we have the rules about the recovery, about the supplements, about everything is set. About the treatments, about the going to bed, about coming to the restaurant. Like you cannot come in flip-flops with earphones with speakers. Also coming up for a warm-up in the game, you cannot see any of our players in a national team or a team coming with earphones or phones, not even in the practice. No way, because psychologically you have to get into the focus. Not like excuse, I need music for a focus. No, you don't need. And it's already confirmed that you don't need. In the locker room, do whatever you want. Once you go there, you represent your club, in this case, like your national team. And it's not like, this is mine. No, this is not yours. It's a national team. It's something that is public. There is a bigger, higher value of this team comparing to the other teams. You represent your country, and you have to be a good example to all young kids there, which is the biggest benefit, like to involve the other kids and population to, that's why we have this kind of support with the national team. And all the players they want to come back every year and say, okay, we can't wait to finish the club season to join the national team. And they're great friends and they are best mates, a lot of them in between themselves, and it's amazing experience. I mean, there is no value. I cannot tell you,
Bravo.
This is something.
Bravo. Okay, one last question before we start the closing part. I just want to, you mentioned here the time of the practices. Okay, this practice, how long is it?
Pardon, I want to also explain. This practice usually is something like this.
Okay.
They cannot spend too much energy. They cannot spend too much time repeating this, because like if here they have enough time to recover with this volume, if you cut the rest here, for sure they cannot repeat this intensity. So it drops down. We follow also the heart rate, and then the last year, for the World Cup in China, we get catapult, the isoinertial, without
clear sky.
Clear sky, exactly. And for me, what was interesting and what I want to share with you, so somebody can check it practically, if it's the same or if there is a difference. I'm a visual type, so can I write it? Maybe
erase up there.
There.
Because later on I'm gonna.
Okay. So if it's
photo.
Okay. If it's like 2, 1, 2, 0. Usually we don't use the heart rate monitors and catapult in the morning practices, because weightlifting, like individual or just spot up shooting, we use in the evening. And also the heart rate. So I will show the first, the heart rate was like, I don't know, let's say visually like this. Then this one was this. The third one was like this. A lot of time, a lot of correction, a lot of inactive time here. Here, bigger distances that you need to cover. So let's say medium heart rate, very low heart rate, a very high heart rate, like internal load. But what we saw on the catapult, again visual I want to show, is like, okay, this is 1. This is day 2.
And what kind of variables?
This is day 3. Movement load, like a number of changes of direction, number of jumps, number of...
so everything together?
Yeah, and number of high-speed acceleration. And then I was thinking, like, why? Like, is a different reaction. It's not the same. And for me, it was interesting. Like, this one is the most intensive. Yeah, from outside load, like external load. A lot of changes of direction on the small space. They play half court. You need to cheat. You don't have a lot of space to beat somebody. You need to make 2 or 3, 4, 5 intensive steps. Here or here, is a full speed, or you start from a flying sprint. So it's very rare that you stay, that you are passive, and then you need to accelerate. You need to accelerate with a high intensity, but acceleration usually are not, from 0 to 100 right away. You already have some movement, and then you accelerate. But the acceleration are immediate. Changes of direction a lot. That's why, my opinion, how I analyze this result, but I would look if somebody can check this and see if you can get the same result. Maybe it's interesting for some study or for something to see. Like that this one was the most intensive from the perspective of external load, but from the perspective of internal load and like metabolic work, definitely this one makes sense. I mean, and then you can analyze and say, okay, we did the right thing. And at the end, results show that. I cannot say 2015 we didn't reach the medal. My opinion is probably we started with tapering too early, but there was the conflict because our group 2015 in Berlin, was so strong.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Germany as a host.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Turkey. There was a Italy with a great roster. There was a Spain, and there was Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we said we need to be ready to pass the group, and that's why we came there in a really good shape, and we won all 5 games. And then we play quarterfinal, I think, against Finland, then against Czech Republic, and then we lost. But okay, we lost against Lithuania, and then for the 3rd place, we lost against France, that hosts the tournament. But my opinion that we started with the taper a little bit earlier. We should have kept them a little bit longer in fatigue, and then just to open, like Spain started really tough, and they pass the group. I think in overtime against Italy, something like that. Was lucky, but at the end they won the competition. Now is a conflict, and you need to measure, like, to go in this way and that way. Maybe that was mistake. Maybe, you know, like, it is how it is.
When we talk about RPE from 1 to 10, from these 3 practices, basketball practices, you can say by your own expertise how tough the practices are 1 to 10, or from if you have ever asked players to rate the practice. From my point of view, how I see it, it's something similar to internal load of heart rates. Something that I expect is that this first practice will be something like 6, maybe 7.
Yeah, exactly.
Then second one will be maybe 5.
Exactly.
Okay, for some players 6. And this will be the most demanding because it's the most metabolic practice, so maybe 8 or 9.
Exactly. That's the point. I never use RP. I don't know why, but I'm not the fan of that, because subjective interpretation of these results, and it depends on their mood, you know, like about, you know, how they feel. But this is it. It's not about the movement load. It's about the metabolic, because that's make difference. If you look through the movement load, we cover everything with the ball. They don't know how much they run. It's a lot of competition. You play 3 against 2, then you are coming back with a wave. Then you go there. I need to score. You are coming back. Everything is through tactic, and is from them is interesting. When we want to intensify the drill, then we said, okay, offensive rebound is -1 point for defense, or offensive rebound is +1 for the offense. And we play, I don't know, until 4. That game. So you can finish game in 2 possessions. I don't know, you miss offensive rebound, I don't know, you can have a good defense, you steal the ball, and you score again, you're done. And then you stimulate if you want to put impact on the offense or you want to put impact on the defense. And they don't know how much they run. That's why I think that movement load is not reliable for the giving the mark and like prescription of the load. I think the metabolic one is that they remember more than this one.
Okay.
You know, that's the point. And I wanted to tell you one more thing, but we stop about the system. Yes, when we talk about the everything coming from the top. Yeah, Sasha is the one that set the rules for everybody, for players, also for the staff. And I can tell you that the first year with the national team was very tough for me. Everybody say, yeah, it's easy now to work, is this and that, you're working together. So, yes, but I can tell you, like, joining the national team was really responsibility for me. Like, if I make mistake, probably everything is going to be on my shoulders as a young strength and conditioning coach. On the second thing was like, Sasha, you know, he's the legend of our basket. You know, if he sees that something is wrong, you are dead. The third thing, players, they play in the NBA, EuroLeague, EuroCup, whatever. If they see that you don't know something, or they're gonna kill you. And then, you know, like, everything is on me. And Sasha was really strict, but now from this perspective, he wasn't bad. He was strict with the rules. There is a rule, you have to respect. There is a rule, if you don't respect, there is a consequence. But for the job, not for the life, making you problems, you know, why you're doing this or you're doing that outside of the floor. But on the floor, there are rules. There are rules in your job. You have a responsibility. And I was really, really nervous that time because of that, and also because of Serbian. I was like sick. And for me, that sense of the pressure was increased. And I was like, no, I will give up. I will leave the national team. I don't know if he knows this. I really don't know. But I was talking to my family and I was talking to my friends. I said, like, I will leave the national team. No, really. And because Serbian couldn't gone to Madrid, Granada, and then Madrid for the World Cup. Yeah, they said, you're following the team. And I said, no, why me? Well, now another 2-3 weeks, you know, of pressure. I'm not ready for this, you know. Like, and day by day, you know, we passed the group. You know, a lot of pressure come out from all of us. And we started, you know, to feel that energy. And then quarterfinal, we destroy, I think, Greece. That was the first in their group. Then 30 points, we destroyed Brazil. And then the France in the semi-final. And I remember I was sitting next to Karnišovas, who was general manager of the USA national team. And he was watching with the coaching staff of USA. They were watching the semi-final, preparing the final game because they already qualified. And we were talking, and he said, congratulations, you are in. It was maybe like 7-8 minutes till the end, and we were maybe plus 15. I said, don't say that, because I was scared something can happen, you know, and if we don't win, you know, then we need to play for a third spot, and this is not success. Like, if we lose, you know, maybe we have the medal. If we win, we have the medal. If we lose, we have another game, and if you lose another one, it's not success. And then Batum started to score like crazy, and but we controlled the game and we won. And was for me, like, I got arrhythmia after the game. Was like so excited. No, I'm telling you my experience, a lot of pressure. And once we get back to Belgrade, was a nice host in the center, city center, with a lot of people. Tomorrow morning, I got the temperature 40 degrees. Probably my immunity system, you know, just dropped down. I relax. As soon as I relax, bam, 40. I did all the analysis, like it's not flu, it's not a bacteria. I was just crashed after 2 months of the national team. And then 2-3 days, I was okay, you know, like, oh, I came back again, 38, 39. And I needed like 2 or 3 months to get back on the track and say, okay, now I'm normal. Once I felt that kind of pressure and I reached that level, there is no pressure. I mean, for sure there is, but like this kind of pressure. And then talking to Sasha, I said, listen, how you can lead the team and how you can manage the stress of all of them if you never reach that kind of stress. And that's why he's managing like all these players. He was even higher than all of them, you know, like playing the finals, winning and was the leader in generation that was winning something. Mm-hmm. And for me, that was the biggest value, the personal, not professional, personal. You know, if you reach there and if you come there, like, you're ready and able to absorb that. Once you're ready to absorb that, then, you know, it's like easy game, everything else. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's that was really, really beneficial.
Perfect.
For me.
Man,
I
really, really appreciate a lot of everything what you shared.
This is not something about conditioning, it's about the life. You know, once you reach that, and then now we're playing the semi-final, me and you, and having fun. Maybe 7-8 years ago, I would have been in a hotel room, you know, like, yeah, if we lose, if we win, you know, now we have fun and we have a game in 3 hours,
Yes.
you know, playing very important, something for you, for me, for careers, for clubs, for everybody. But like, it's a different perspective.
Yeah. Things change as you get
Exactly.
the experience, and I think for the younger guys, the most important thing is that they hear that even the elite coaches, such as you are, went through the phase where they were nervous, when they were anxious, and by having support from your friends, from your family, from your colleagues, from the coaching staff where you are, I mean, if you cannot find solution within yourself that given day, maybe you can give a call to your family member or a friend, or talk to some assistant coach or a coach that you trust, who can help you, who has more experience, and in that way kind of help yourself. And as you sit here, there will be another coach who will go through very similar process of being anxious and being afraid, and then a couple of years after, they're gonna, you know, sit relaxed in the chair and talk about it.
I can tell you, I mean, once I got back to the normal state after 2014 World Cup, and I had a neck pain, like a lot of neck pain, and you know, like, you know, a lot of physiotherapists, orthopedics doctors, and you need physician. Okay, I went to physician. I said, okay, you know, there is a spasm, maybe chiropractor. So I went to chiropractor. I said, you know, they said like, I have some problem in the neck, maybe you can help me. And the first thing that he told me, you don't have neck problem. I said, how you mean? And he told me, like, you can look at your wrist. And I was staying in front of him like this. I said, why? Look at your eyes. And I had eyes like this, talking to him. I said, you have a mental problem. I said, no. I said,
No.
no. And he said, who are you? What is your job? And I explained him and said, hey kid, you need
Psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist. And I really went there, and she talked to me, you know, like a background past, and I said, like, you're exhausted, like your nervous system is on fire. And said, I don't want to give you like a medication, pills. You're so young, you have to go through this like a different methods, like meditation, relax, take vacation, go with the friends. And I really went through. And then I said, like, I was not aware what basketball can do to a man. But I mean, probably is a school that everybody must pay.
Yeah, for sure. And in the end, you love it more than it is kind of suffering, let's say. So day by day, as you say, you cope with it, you find solutions, there are people who support you, and eventually you grow with every experience that you get. So I just want to encourage all the younger guys to go through this path. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
But definitely, if you find day-to-day solutions to your little problems, eventually you will grow and find a way to success.
Yeah, the other example is like a colleague of mine, like 2017. He was my assistant in the national team, and we went through the whole process together. And right before the European Championship, I went to Munich for the preparation of the team, and he continued with the national team just for the European Basketball Championship. We were in touch a couple times per day. I was talking to Sasha about plan, about program, about everything what is needed for the team. And once we finished, I mean, for the final game, I flew there. I was with the national team, and I saw my colleague, and he was like, I said, what's happened to you? I said, I lost 7 kilos. This is a lot of pressure. You know, I don't know how to manage it. You know, everybody's pissed off. I say, yes, it's easy to play group phase. Once you start playing to win, that's now why we're coming back to the system. Is like play to practice, play to compete, and then play to win. Because everybody is behaving differently if they play to win and if they just play to have fun. It's a totally different psychology, and you cannot practice like play to have fun. Yes, first phase is yes, but then in the end, when you know how to play to win, and this is the strongest point of the team, where our players from the national team, when we play against some national teams, you know, they say, okay, before the game, I'm nervous, like, just to win that, and they're just passing by me and say, like, 20 today. I say, how they can say 20? They're so strong. 20. And then when you see, like, that character, that personality, they go there and it's like, it's going to be 20. Maybe not 20, maybe we'll lose, it's going to be +5, but that's the approach. It's going to be 20. And then, like, you really grow with them, also the personality and everything. It's a nice story.
Excellent. I completely forgot that. Yeah, I even had like laptop open for the questions. Anyway, we went through most of the questions that I wanted to ask you, and I think this was a very, very nice episode because we went through some practical stuff regarding the periodization and the system you have, and you are still using in the teams where you go with Sasha. I think it's a very, very useful system to know. As you said, it would be good for the guys who have polar team system or first beat system together with catapult system, or maybe in some different moments to use and compare these two systems and how they work in this block of 4 days. I think it's very useful type of periodization. The only thing that I see here is that by having this clear system, you know where you start and where you want to come in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, how long the system lasts. And I think this is very, very applicable to any meeting with the national teams. So during summer times it can work. It can work as a pre-season training camp for the whole season, and it can definitely serve as a little micro intervention during FIBA window breaks.
Exactly.
That Euro Cup teams and some other competitions have during months of November and February, but we will not touch it now. So we give you time to rest. I will also go to eat something before the game to see my family. And once again, thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for sharing everything with us. Guys, another great episode of one-on-one interviews, only because of my guests, not because of me. You could see that I asked the question and the answers were coming to us. So stay tuned for another episode. If you like this one, share it. If you want to follow the updates on the channel, subscribe, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Luka.